welcome in. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing good. Enjoying the weather.
Yeah, I'm sure it's it's been an interesting year.
Well,
for
you had some sun in Anaheim, and now you got snow in Buffalo.
Yeah. I've had enough sun. I need the snow. So.
Okay, well, I appreciate that because it had to be a little bit of a kind of unusual start to the season. You're here, and you get to Anaheim, you play a couple of games, then you come back here. Like, how did you handle all of it? How did the family and everybody around handle it as well?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for yourself, sometimes you're so busy, you're just you're focused on different, on just staying ready and preparing and whatnot, right? I think it's probably harder on the family. I think because we started in Prague, so you're gone for a couple weeks. Yeah. I came home for like 36 hours, and I'm back on the other coast. So, I think it was harder on the family and the kiddos and whatnot. But for me, you just. It kind of doesn't. You take the old adage. It really doesn't matter where you are. You're just trying to focus on what you need to do to be you're ready and prepared and whatnot. So you can kind of just take it like that, and then some of those other things.
You used to collect air miles back in the days, but now you can't anymore because it's all charter.
I think I have the most air miles of any NHL player this year so far. So
that's good.
I got the trophy.
Where's home base for the family then, when aside from all this in-season chaos?
We live out in the Okanagan in BC. So
wow.
we were lucky enough to get out there early in my career, and so we've kind of always been going back.
That's really cool. Now, something that I had to adjust to later in my career is, the role that you're in, but also I always thought I'm going to come in, I'm going to be a veteran, I'm going to be a leader, I'm going to talk to everybody, I'm going to be big woo-rah-rah. Then I realized, you know what, you can't just adjust from one thing to the other. And as goalies, sometimes we're more quiet in the locker room. How has that adjustment been for you over maybe the last couple of years of saying, okay, what's my place, what's my role, and how do I handle that role inside the locker room?
Yeah, like what's your identity? What's your role in the team? Yeah, I think it kind of changes a little bit over time, and you just have to find a way to help the team. And I think for myself, obviously the main thing, as we all know, is when you get in there, you have to stop the puck. Yeah. Doesn't matter how good of a guy you are, if you can't stop the puck, then that really doesn't matter, right? But I think as you get older and whatnot, I think you see the game differently, and you see the pressure, and then you see the young guys, and you see how they're reacting to it, and you're remembering how you felt when you were in that situation. And so I think I try and I talk as much as I can and help out on the bench and whatnot. But I think over the last couple of years, sometimes it's just taking some of the young guys aside and just one-on-one and just seeing where they're at and how they're doing and just trying to help them out on a more of a one-to-one basis, and just try and because I think this game can be really overwhelming. It's your dream. You're here, and it's just like it's everything you want, and sometimes not going your way, and you can feel it slipping, and the worst thing you can do is getting in your own way because all these guys have the ability to be here. That's why they're here, and so you just try and get them to breathe.
So what's the challenge and what's the role? What are the conversations like on the heels of the last game, which was a tough one, obviously, with a 4-0 lead? I mean, so where did you get to as a group yesterday and today, and in readiness for the Jets tonight? Yeah.
I mean, I'll try not to give away all our secrets, but I think what's really important. And Lindy did a great job. We had a good chat as a team and whatnot. No surprise there. And he spoke very well and really got our minds back into it. And I think we looked at some things that we're not doing well that we're capable of doing well. And then just focusing on being able to do that for a whole game. And so honestly, I don't think there is really. As far as X's and O's, anything shattering, but it's just the tone and there's an again cliches. You need to play with a certain intensity, but not tensity.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Connor Hellebuyck's a pretty good goaltender, and you face some of those guys. You've actually been in the league a long time, so you've seen some of the best, right? The offense had kind of gone away from it a little bit, and then obviously last game it came back in the first period. Do you try to have that conversation with guys about the other team's goaltender, or even with assistant coach, goalie coach Mike Bills, about what your experience has been against other goalies to lead them maybe to have an easier way to produce?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you've played as long as I have, you get to see a lot of goalies, and you get to see a lot of tendencies and whatnot. So there's certain guys that you look at and you can see, there's certain weaknesses here or there, and I mean not to be politically correct, but I mean every goalie's good at this level, right? But it's like
everybody's weak on the low blocker side. Like that's the old adage,
exactly.
right? And then you try to shoot there all game, and you're like, oh, that didn't go in, so maybe there's something else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know they hate traffic and.
Oh my gosh, get in his face. They hate traffic. Yeah, everybody hates traffic.
Rebounds put it up. So yeah, no, I mean
that is so true. That's on the scouting report of every goalie.
Yeah, he hates traffic. So. No, so yeah, I know you. Every once in a while, obviously there's some guys. I mean, Helly's a heck of a goalie, and you don't have a lot of weaknesses to his game. But every once in a while, when you see something, you can pull, one of your guys on your team that will generally get more chances, and you can kind of whisper something in his ear, and sometimes it works, and sometimes he comes back to the bench and gives you the dirty look. So.
I tell this story all the time, but J.P. Dumont knew Roberto Luongo from playing juniors with him. Every game we played Florida, he'd always say 5-0. 5-0 is his weakness. And then Luongo would have a 41-save shutout. And all we tried to do was go 5-0 and could never beat him. So, yeah, sometimes it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, so
if you were to explain a rule to a casual fan, how would you describe what is goaltender interference?
Goaltender interference is as much interference as you can get away with. And as many times as possible, and how the ref deems it not goaltender interference.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, we had one the other day, and listen, I know that as a goalie, we're the smartest on the ice, but what that was Joey Daccord, right?
Yep.
Joey Daccord did the other day when he saw the rush come in against Carolina, and he engaged in the contact, lost his way, Drury scores, and they challenged and reviewed it, and they waved it off. And I'm like, wait a second, time out here. The goalie engaged in the contact, but because it was just at the edge of the crease, they waved it off. I'm like, okay, now we've seen it all. I've seen where calls should have been made, and now I've seen where goalies get away with it. Are you conscious of the crease and where players are at during the game?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, maybe I'm jaded with my 15 years, but yeah, you're conscious of where the crease is, and I honestly do think that they've done a little better job this year of protecting the goalies in our eyes. I think they've a minute, but anytime I feel contact, it's just like you have to keep playing, even if you get interfered with. Like it's just like chances are it's not going to be goaltender interference. So I might as well just battle and compete and try and make a save because. I feel like 90% of the time the call's not going to go your way.
By the way, is your left shoulder good from that windmill save? Because I thought you popped it out of the socket after catching it. So are you all good after that?
Yeah, we're good. They popped it back in
between
the second and third.
Yeah,
so,
you did like who's it? Mel Gibson and Lethal Weapon when he slams his shoulder against the wall.
Yeah.
So
you're showing your age there.
Exactly.
Mind you do remember every line and every scene from every movie. One word on your battery mate Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and his addition to Finland's roster for the Four Nations.
Yeah, Upi's been that's awesome. So happy for him. So proud of him. He's a really good goaltender. Last year watching him a bit when I was in Detroit, he looked like he was playing well, but I didn't see him a ton. And so I heard from Coms in the summer because I work out with Coms, and he said Upi's he's a really good goaltender. And so seeing him in camp and seeing him in games, it's he's got kind of the whole package. And so as a city, as a team, very, very lucky to have a guy, of his caliber back there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
no, he's big too. Most goalies, like when you came into the league, you were one of the bigger goalies. I thought when I came in at 6'2", I was like super tall. Then you're like 6'3" and a little over. And now those guys are so big and cover so much time, but are so athletic. Is that the one thing that impresses you, the athleticism of the big guys now?
Yeah, the athleticism and the way they can move. Like usually, like to your point is. Back in the day, the big guys, like, they couldn't move, any east-west pass, if they couldn't reach it, they were in trouble. Now it's like the big guys move like the small guys, and so it's like, what are you going to do, He's so big and he can move. It's impressive.
Don't
These big
make
guys.
the net bigger.
Yeah,
just keep them the way they are.
Yeah,
James, appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
You betcha. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.